you can control the volume of that. You can make it softer or louder. I have it set fairly loud because I want you to hear it, and I like to play with it loud. There's no reason not to. You know, you're doing your own. Back into the metronome, and this is at 88. Now, the way I do it to go speed, and I'm sure many of you do the same way, is you will increase the tempo, and you'll go up. How much would you go up? Well, standard metronomes have fixed rates that they go up, right? You know what they do? 96, 100, 108, 116, 120.
108.
108, yeah. They go up in standard increments. Well, what's interesting about this metronome is you can go up by one tick at a time, which creates an interesting situation. All right, now, let's see, that was at 88. Let me go up here. Well, let's increase it 20. I'll go up to 108. Okay. Now we can also increase that and take that up a little higher. Let's say you go up to 120 now. And for those of you that recognize it, that's Rossini's hot points. It's a nice number to use. I like to use it as a warm-up number. All right, increasing again. Let's take this up to 132. Now that's not the top speed that I want to play it at, so I'll continue. 144, that's a good standard number. Let's see how it lays at 144. So that's the speed I might want to aspire to get it to 144. That's a nice playing speed. It's entertaining at that speed. Now, a little thing that I do to practice, and I learned this from the game of baseball, is that if I want to play comfortably at 144, I'll try to take the piece up and play it at 160. And if I can play it comfortably at 160, 144 seems very easy. Whereas if you're going from 120 to 144, it may seem difficult. Why do I say a baseball analogy? You ever see a batter when he gets up to bat? What does he do? He picks up a heavy rod or 2 or 3 bats and starts swinging 3 bats before he goes up with 1 bat. The reason he does that is it makes that 1 bat seem lighter and he can swing stronger and faster. So I kind of use the analogy of working with a metronome. Learn to play faster than what the finished speed is, and it should be helpful to maintain that finished speed. We had a question over here.
Yeah, I was just wondering, does the metronome, does it just stick to that tick, or does it do anything like, will it pulse in any kind of time signatures, like give you a strong downbeat?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
You can. I mean, to me, a tick is a tick is a tick. You know, whether it's in 3 or 2 or 4 or 6, 8 or whatever I'm playing at. I just want to get the tempo. But the answering of your question is yes.
Okay.
And for example,
All right.
right? Or we can go to a waltz. It's got a lot of gadgets on it. Okay, any more questions on the metronome? It's just a neat little feature that's built into the instrument that is useful in practice. Now, I wouldn't say, you know, turn it on when you're giving a performance and playing a whole tune with the metronome going. They have drum machines and, you know, fancy kind of metronomes to do. That's all a drum machine is. It's a, you know, a very fancy type of a metronome. Okay, next thing on the agenda is percussion. The V accordion has built-in percussion sounds. There we go, okay. And when you bring in the various kinds of percussion, this has 8, this particular one, how many does the 7 have? How many different percussions?
126.
126 percussion. This only has 8, the FR3. So there's a big difference between the 3X and the 7X. But I find I only use about 2 or 3 anyway, so I'm in good shape. So if I want to play drums, that's all activated on the left hand. The fundamental and counter bass row plays essentially the bass drum part, and then any of the chords will play the snare or cymbal or however they have it set. For example, this is a bass and an after snare. Doesn't matter where I'm playing, it's always the same percussion, right? Percussion is percussion. It's not in tune of any sort. So if I was playing, so you can hear that. Here's another set that's built in. It's like a here's a third one. And a fourth one. And a fifth. And it's also dynamically sensitive on how hard that you hit the button as to what effect you get. So here's it's just very light. When I strike the button fast, it's got velocity sensitivity. It gives me a different effect. Take drums all night, right? Here's this one. Another one. And another one. Like a big kettle drum with the sounds coming up. So here's how I might utilize this in a tune, because you build it in. It's not a metronome, it's percussion effects that you control from the left hand. Set on this. Okay. These settings I'm doing on the left here is can play this number. This is the bassoon accordion. This is a tune, one of the very beautiful tunes written by the late, great Frank Morocco. He wrote it for his wife. He calls it Ballad for Anne. And just over the years since it was first released and I started working on it, I fell in love with it, and I had the opportunity to play it for Frank and Anne in Mesa, Arizona a couple of years ago, and we celebrated Frank's 80th birthday party. So I think it's a nice number to close the program with. So this is Ballad for Anne by Frank Morocco. By the way, I'm dedicating this to a very dear friend of mine from up in Connecticut by the name of Marilyn O'Neill.